Is strength found in authoritative declarations, sharp threats, or the ability to command attention in a room? Or is it something intangible, silent yet undeniable, felt rather than seen? Imagine facing a predator in the wild, a black panther, an old wolf, or a full-grown tiger. It doesn't snarl, lunge, or flaunt its fangs. It simply stands there, watching, its piercing gaze analyzing your every move. Its silence isn't hesitation, it's calculation. And that quiet presence is far more unsettling than any roar. Or picture a tense chess match between a grandmaster and a determined challenger. The board is a battlefield where a single misstep could mean defeat. The challenger fidgets, scanning the pieces, searching desperately for the right move. Meanwhile, the grandmaster remains still, no furrowed brow, no sign of stress. His calmness alone exerts overwhelming pressure, shaking his opponent's confidence. Strength isn't always loud or flashy. True power lies in quiet confidence, unwavering composure, and the ability to command respect without a single word. Philosophers of Stoicism understood this well. They knew that strength doesn't come from aggression or dominance over others, but from mastery over oneself. Controlling thoughts to avoid emotional impulsiveness. Controlling reactions to remain unshaken by provocations. Most importantly, controlling the energy one projects is important because the person who stays unshaken in any situation holds the greatest power. In this video, we'll explore 7 silent strategies from Stoic philosophy, principles that allow you to exude presence and command respect without speaking a word. These are not manipulative tricks, but lessons in becoming the strongest version of yourself. Once you master these principles, respect will come naturally. People will sense your strength in how you walk into a room, your steady gaze, and your composed demeanor. No need for words. No need to prove anything. Simply being is enough. Now, let's begin. 1. Maintain an unshakable presence. True confidence doesn't seek attention or demand recognition. It flows quietly, yet powerfully, drawing respect without the need for words. A person with a solid presence doesn't need to assert themselves. Their posture, movements, and how they command space speak volumes. They don't try to dominate or impress, yet the world naturally acknowledges them. Confidence without arrogance is the most formidable force. Someone who moves with certainty, taking up space effortlessly, commands attention, not because they demand it, but because they don't have to. The Stoics understood this well. Lao Tzu once said, "Silence is a source of great strength. It is not a sign of weakness, but of control. Control over emotions, reactions, and the energy one projects." A person who can enter a room and create an undeniable presence without a single word holds power. I once knew a man like that, Adrian. He wasn't the loudest in the room, nor did he try to impress anyone. Yet, people respected him naturally. His posture was steady, his movements deliberate, never excessive. When he entered a space, the atmosphere subtly shifted. He never raised his voice or sought attention, but when he spoke, people instinctively listened. I remember a crucial meeting where heated arguments filled the room, everyone fighting to be heard. Adrian remained silent, observing. He showed no impatience, no urgency, but when he finally spoke, the noise ceased. No one had to be told to listen. They simply did. Not because he demanded it, but because it matters when a person like him speaks. He never needed to prove anything. His presence said it all. True strength isn't in words. It's in how a person moves and how they own a space effortlessly. Once you master this, you'll realize respect isn't something you chase. It naturally gravitates toward you. 2. Don't overreact to insults. Nothing reveals weakness more than losing control over an insult. When someone attacks you verbally, the instinctive response is to argue, defend, or retaliate to prove them wrong. But the moment you react, you give them power. The instant you get angry, flustered, or hurt, you expose a weakness they can exploit. If they have ill intentions, they know exactly how to manipulate your emotions. Every reaction you give strengthens their influence over you. The way to break this cycle? Indifference. Indifference is not weakness, it's ultimate control. When you refuse to be affected by insults and remain calm as if nothing happened, you regain power. The other person starts to wonder, why isn't he reacting? Why doesn't she care? Why aren't my words working? In that moment of doubt, you've already won. The Stoics understood this well. Epictetus taught that others should not control our emotions. He said, "It's not what happens to you, but how you react to it that matters. If you don't give an insult attention, it dies instantly. But if you respond, you feed it, making it real." I once knew a woman named Evelyn. She was intelligent, highly competent, and excelled at her job. But a colleague constantly tried to undermine her, mocking her in meetings, belittling her achievements, and spreading negativity. At first, Evelyn did what most people would. She argued, defended herself, and tried to prove him wrong. But she soon realized the more she engaged, the worse it got. The insults became more persistent, and the battle never ended. So, she changed her approach. The next time she was mocked, she didn't react. No frustration, no defense, no sign of being affected. She simply continued her work, completely unfazed. Everything changed. Her colleague became confused, then frustrated. He expected a reaction, but got nothing. He tried again, pushing harder, but it was useless. With no power over her emotions, he lost interest. Soon, the insult stopped altogether. To master this, first, develop self-awareness. When insulted, pause for a moment, take a breath, and remind yourself, you control your reactions, no one else. Second, manage your emotions. The moment you lose your temper, you give away control. A strong person never lets anger dictate their actions. And finally, embrace indifference. Not every insult deserves your attention. Silence and disregard often hold more power than any rebuttal. They lose their reason to continue when you refuse to play their game. The strongest person isn't the one who argues best. It's the one who cannot be provoked. Let them insult, let them mock. It doesn't matter. Ultimately, their words only have power if you allow them to. Stay calm, stand firm, and watch as they lose control over you. 3. Control. What others know about you. Power isn't just about what you do. It's also about what you choose to reveal. In a world where people observe, analyze, and try to predict your actions, the more predictable you are, the easier you are to manipulate. Think about it. If someone knows your weaknesses, they can exploit them. If they understand your ambitions, they can dangle tempting offers to control you. If they grasp your insecurities, they can use them to push you into a defensive position. Every piece of information you share is a double-edged sword. It can build relationships, but if placed in the wrong hands, it becomes a weapon against you. The key to maintaining control is managing what you disclose. This doesn't mean being dishonest. It means being selective. You become an enigma when you keep parts of yourself private. Your struggles, your next moves, your deepest thoughts. And what can't be predicted can't be controlled. Great strategists have always understood this. Sun Tzu advised, "Appear weak when you are strong, and strong when weak." Oversharing is not a sign of strength. It's an invitation for manipulation. Those who reveal too much make it easy for others to control them. But those who maintain a sense of mystery command respect. Think about truly influential people. They don't broadcast everything about themselves. Instead, they keep others guessing, never showing all their cards, making them all the more formidable. I once knew a man named Nathan. He was ambitious and highly skilled, but he had one flaw. He was too open. Believing honesty built stronger connections, he freely shared his challenges, frustrations, and aspirations at work. He thought transparency would earn him respect. But then, he noticed something unsettling. His complaints about workload led to even more assignments, as people assumed he could handle the pressure. His doubts about a difficult project made colleagues question his leadership. And when he openly discussed his career ambitions, others actively worked against him. That's when he realized his own words had created his weaknesses. So, Nathan changed his approach. He started speaking less. He stopped sharing every thought. When asked about work, he kept his answers neutral. No complaints, no unnecessary details. When questioned about his plans, he responded vaguely, never revealing too much. And everything shifted. People saw him differently. They couldn't predict his next move, his struggles, or whether he was winning or losing. His words were no longer being used against him. Most importantly, he regained control, not by fighting, but by becoming unreadable. To maintain your strength, learn to control what others know about you. Not everyone is trustworthy, and not all information needs to be shared. Be deliberate with your words, not just to protect yourself, but to maintain an advantage. The most powerful people aren't the ones who talk the most. They're the ones who leave others guessing. They don't expose themselves easily or allow others to use their words against them. Their mystery is their weapon. Keep a part of yourself unknown, and no one will ever predict your next move. Because what can't be predicted can't be controlled. Fourth silent action. The ones who talk the most aren't always the strongest. Those who constantly boast about their plans and ambitions are often vulnerable. When they reveal their intentions, they unknowingly give up one of their greatest weapons, surprise. There is a unique power in those who act in silence. They don't need to announce their goals or seek validation. Instead, they work quietly, sharpen their skills, and move forward unnoticed. Then, when success finally arrives, it's too late for anyone to interfere. Restraint becomes a rare strength in a world where everyone wants to share their dreams and strategies. Revealing too much invites interference, doubt, and even sabotage. Some will try to discourage you. Others will offer unsolicited advice that makes you second-guess yourself. And a few, those who don't want to see you succeed, may actively work against you. But when you keep your ambitions to yourself, you immediately eliminate those obstacles. No one can stop what they can't see. When you reveal your next move, you open yourself to judgment, criticism, and resistance. But when you keep your path hidden, no one can predict or manipulate your actions. You become an unpredictable force, an enigma that others can only watch from a distance. Epictetus once said, "Don't explain your philosophy, embody it." Truly intelligent people don't waste time defending their choices. They don't seek approval. They simply act, building, persevering, and moving forward. And when success comes, they don't need to say a word. The results speak for themselves. Cassandra was ambitious and intelligent, always setting big goals. But she had a habit that held her back. She shared her plans too freely with friends and colleagues. She believed that speaking about her dreams would motivate her and attract support. At first, it felt empowering. But soon, things became difficult. People questioned her choices. Some offered advice she never asked for, making her doubt herself. Others, intentionally or not, discouraged her, distracting her from her path. Worst of all, some who didn't want her to succeed subtly tried to undermine her. Then, something even more damaging happened. Cassandra started doubting herself. The external noise became overwhelming, making her lose confidence. One day, she made a decision. She would stop talking and start acting. She kept her plans private, focused on her work, and shut out distractions. The result? She progressed faster, felt freer, and ultimately achieved her goals. When success arrived, those who once doubted her had nothing left to say. Her achievements spoke louder than words. To be truly strong, you must resist the urge to share everything. Not everyone needs to know your plans. Not everyone wants you to succeed. Keep your ambitions to yourself. Work relentlessly, and let your results do the talking. Stop talking about what you want to do. Talking doesn't make it happen. Only action does. Instead of seeking recognition, focus on the process. Let your success be unexpected. Let people wonder what you're up to. And when your moment comes, let your achievements make the loudest noise. Real power isn't in words. It's in action. Work in silence. Build, persist. And when the time comes, let success be your voice. 5. Master your emotions. The greatest strength a person can have is not controlling others, but mastering themselves. Anyone can yell, argue, or react emotionally, but true strength lies in staying calm amidst life's storms. Think about times when someone provoked you, mocked you, insulted you, or tried to push your buttons. Most people instinctively react. They argue, defend themselves, or get angry to prove they're not weak. But the moment you let emotions take over, you give control to the other person. Nothing frustrates an opponent more than failing to shake you. They become unsettled when they try to provoke you, but are met with calm indifference. They don't know how to deal with someone they can't manipulate. Emotional control is your strongest weapon. Your composure will be their greatest frustration. Marcus Aurelius once said, "The closer a person is to a calm mind, the closer they are to true power." Strength doesn't come from anger or retaliation, but from maintaining clarity and not letting anyone dictate your emotions. I knew a man named Julian. He was capable, hardworking, and respected at work, but he had a colleague who constantly undermined him, mocking him, challenging him in meetings, trying to make him react. At first, Julian fell into the trap. He argued, defended himself, and fought back, thinking he was standing up for himself. But he soon realized that every time he reacted, his rival felt victorious. Every time he got angry, his opponent enjoyed it. So, Julian changed his approach. The next time he was provoked, he said nothing. He stayed calm, showed no frustration, and didn't engage. He refused to play the game. And immediately the dynamic shifted. His rival grew uneasy, losing control. The taunts stopped having an effect. Over time, the insults faded away and then disappeared completely. Julian didn't have to fight or prove anything. He simply mastered himself, and in doing so, took back his power. To master your emotions, first, identify what triggers you. Once you understand your weak points, you can prepare rather than react instinctively. Next, train yourself in emotional discipline. When provoked, pause. Take a deep breath before responding. The moment you control your reaction, you gain the upper hand. Most importantly, remember that emotional control is power. Those who are easily angered are easily manipulated. But when you remain calm, you control not only yourself, but how the world reacts to you. True strength isn't about overpowering others. It's about mastering yourself. When you stay composed, no one can truly hurt you. 6. Let your actions speak for you. Those who quietly take action earn the most respect in a world full of empty promises and big talk. Anyone can speak of ambition and success, but words are cheap. The real value lies in action. True strength doesn't come from bold declarations, but from discipline, persistence, and the ability to turn words into results. A determined person doesn't seek recognition. Their achievements speak for themselves. And the best part? Your enemies can argue with your words but can't deny your results. The Stoics understood this long ago. Epictetus said, "Don't explain your philosophy. Embody it." You become impossible to ignore when you stop talking about your strength and start showing it through action. I knew a man named Gabriel. He was ambitious and full of big ideas and grand plans. He constantly talked about his future success, goals, and vision. At first, people listened, impressed by his enthusiasm. But as time passed and nothing changed, their attitude shifted. They still nodded, but they no longer believed him. Realizing this, Gabriel decided to change. He stopped talking. He no longer boasted about his plans. Instead, he simply worked, and things began to shift. No one heard him talk about success, but they saw it. They saw his progress, his results. Those who once ignored him now respected him, not because he asked for it, but because his actions proved his worth. To let your actions speak. Be consistent. Even small steps forward create big results over time. Refuse mediocrity. Strive for excellence in everything you do. Build resilience. Life will test you, throw obstacles in your way, and tempt you to quit. But persistence is the ultimate proof of strength. In the end, what you do matters more than what you say. Your enemies can challenge your words, but can't argue with your results. So stop talking about what you will do. Take action. Let your success be undeniable proof. 7. Be yourself. No apologies needed. Nothing is more powerful than someone who stays true to themselves without ever feeling the need to apologize. In a world where most people adjust to fit in, seek approval, and worry about others' opinions, standing firm in your identity is a bold act, and boldness commands respect. Most people are desperate to be liked. They suppress their thoughts, hide their strengths, and tone down their personalities to blend in. But here's the truth. The moment you stop trying to fit in, you become unstoppable. When you let go of the need for acceptance, the balance of power shifts. You no longer feel pressure to impress anyone. Others' judgments no longer affect you. And nothing unsettles people more than someone who doesn't seek their approval. The Stoics understood this centuries ago. Epictetus once said, "Freedom is not gained by being accepted, but by needing no one's approval." When you stop chasing validation, you gain something more valuable: self-respect. And when you respect yourself, the world has no choice but to do the same. I once knew a man named Damien. He was smart and talented, yet he constantly adjusted himself for years to fit those around him. He laughed at jokes he didn't find funny. He downplayed his achievements to avoid making others uncomfortable. He shaped his words, actions, and even his dreams to match the expectations of others. But over time, he realized he was losing the most important thing: himself. Feeling drained and disconnected, Damien finally made a life-changing decision. He stopped pretending. He spoke his mind without hesitation. He stopped worrying about whether people agreed with him. He no longer hid his successes to make others feel comfortable. He stopped trying to fit a mold. And what happened? People respected him more. The ones who truly mattered stayed. Those who once overlooked him now saw him differently, not because he tried to impress them, but because he no longer tried. Stop trying to please everyone. The truth is, you never will. And you don't have to. The most important person you need to please is yourself. Accept that you won't be for everyone. Not everyone will like you, and that's okay. The right people will be drawn to who you truly are, not the version you create to please them. Live by your values, not others' expectations. True freedom isn't about being accepted by the crowd, but not needing their acceptance. Walk your path and let the world adjust to you, not vice versa. If you've read this far, leave a sign. Let me know if you understand the message we're sharing. Write these 3 words: strength in silence. Because if you've made it this far, you're not just skimming, you're seeking change. You understand that power isn't in loud words, but in quiet action. You've taken in every word, reflected on the meaning, and perhaps felt a deep resonance. Not everyone has the patience to reach this point, but you have. And that means you're on the path to becoming stronger, quietly but meaningfully. If this speaks to you or stirs something within you, let me know. Write "Strength in Silence." Let it be a sign that you don't just read, you understand.